Hey everybody, good morning. This is Pastor Kevin Kelly of Big Island Christian Church in Kona, Hawaii. Welcome to today's devotional that's titled Salty Grace. Salty Grace. It's really the only kind, and it comes from Colossians chapter 4. And in verse 6, the Apostle Paul writes, "Let your speech always be gracious, seasoned with salt, so that you may know how you should answer each person." As the Apostle Paul is writing here, talking about being gracious, the idea of grace has been so perverted, so mangled and twisted in our world today, and grace has become all about affirming people in their sin, being accommodating, inclusive, whatever, coexist, anything goes. And that's not biblical grace at all. It always has to do with being salty. It's not just merely a type of grace. That's exactly what grace is. When Paul says seasoned with salt, he's defining what grace is. That salt is always effective, it's always productive, it's always profitable, it always accomplishes or does something. Jesus in Matthew chapter 5, verse 13 says, you are, speaking of the saints, speaking of his followers, his disciples, you are salt of the earth. You are, not you might be, not you could be, you are salt of the earth. And he goes on to say, what happens when salt loses its saltiness? It's useless and it's good for nothing other than to be thrown out and trampled underfoot. That even then, Jesus is saying that it still accomplishes something. That when people reject Christ, when they are no longer effective, no longer productive, that they're cast out, they're thrown and trampled underfoot, that even then, the warning and the wake-up call provides us God's grace. It's a demonstration of his grace. So be mindful. The question isn't about whether or not we can lose our salvation. The real question is, if we're going to call ourselves Christians, are we truly gracious? Are we truly salty? Are we accomplishing God's will in the advancement of Christ, the gospel, to the ends of the earth? God bless you. Thanks for tuning in, and we look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Bye-bye.